In this presentation, we will create a customer QuickBooks backup file. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info. First, we'll open up our QuickBooks company. We're going to get the backup file from the QuickBooks One company. Therefore, we will first open it up. So we're going to go to the QuickBooks data file first and open up QuickBooks One. This is where we're going to open this file up and then get a backup from it for the customer. I'm going to just double click on this item. You should also have a backup file that you can restore in order to then practice making another backup file. Now note that this isn't the backup file we're going to provide to the client so that they can then use it or enter data into it. They could if they want to, but that's not the same file that we will be using. That's not the point. Our point is to give them a backup file to make them feel secure that we're not trying to hoard their data. It's one other thing that we can provide for them to give them security and say, hey, we're being open, we're being transparent, this is all your information. And the reason we're not letting you, basically, we're not both interacting with the file is simply so that we don't get two people involved that have two different systems and mess things up. It's not because we're trying to hoard the information. So providing the backup files can really help to give that transparency to the customer, to the client, even though they may not do anything with it. And it doesn't really take us any time to provide it either. And just note, if they talk to other bookkeepers or other services, or they're thinking about going somewhere else or something like that, other systems might say, well, look, they're not giving you the data or something like that, and give an indication as if you're not giving data to them because you're trying to hoard the data. And that's what we want to basically avoid. Just say, no, this is just the way the system's set up. You have the data. If you want to go somewhere else, you can take the data. They can do whatever they want with it. QuickBooks is a free source program. That's not the point of us setting up the system the way we have it. And so just having that backup that's provided every time is useful. Now at the end of the year, the backup might be something that they do use because they can then bring it to the tax preparer who can then use it to create the tax returns. Or the financial statements or the financial statements or whatever they're using it for. So here we are in the home page. We got the open windows open. You can open the open windows by going to the view drop down and selecting the open windows list. We're now just going to create a backup, and we're going to put this into the folder that we're working with in order to provide it to the client. Now once we create the backup, then we're going to have to think about how we're going to give this to the client, because a backup file does add complication. Although it's a zipped file, it's not as large as the QuickBooks file. In other words, it's still pretty large. So email in it can still cause problems. But we could there's a lot of different ways we can set things up that's pretty cost effective these days. And so one's like the Google Drive, or we can put it on a cloud server drive pretty easily. We'll talk about a couple different options for doing that, but let's first make the backup. So to make a backup, all we have to do is go to the File drop-down. We're going to go to the Backup here, Backup Company, and we want to create the local backup. It's going to go to a local drive. Now remember that our concern here is not to back up the data just to save it in a new location. We're backing up the data so that we can then provide it to somebody else. And this could give a dual purpose to us as well, because our backup could be on the cloud once we put this on the cloud. In order for our client to then be able to access it. That does give us a backup that's not on our computer. So which is more secure just for backup purposes. But for now, we're going to put it into our folder in the same location so that we can then decide what to do with it. So it will be local, in other words. So we're going to say next, save as, next. And then we're going to put it to where we want it to be. It's on our desktop. We're going to put it to the client folder that we've been putting together here, which is going to be in guitar lessons. It's going to be in I'm going to put it in the documents. Notice that it's not going into the backup folder here, just to note that. We're not putting it into the backup folder here because this is a backup that I'm planning on giving to the client in some way. It's a bit different objective. So documents. And then we're going to go to the 2019. And we're going to go into January. Going to put it into the reports here. Now, I'm not going to include it. I'm not going to go into the bookkeeping reports. I'm going to save it outside of the bookkeeping reports. And the reason is because if I plan on zipping this document and giving it to someone, like through an email, then it'll cause a problem because even zipped, this file will be too large. So I'm not going to put it into this report. I'm going to put it outside for now, and then we'll sort this information out. We'll think about where we want to put this. So we're going to go ahead and save it. And it's saying, hey, you're putting it into the same drive, I'm paraphrasing, as your actual data file, the C drive, your actual computer. And we're going to say that's okay because we're saving it to try to give to someone else and trying to figure out where we want to do with it later. So we're going to put it to that same location at this time. Once that process is complete, we're going to go into our folder. We put it into Documents, 2019, January, and then Reports. Now we have this file, which is the backup file, which is a QBB file rather than a QBW file. This is not the file we are working in. This is a copy of it that has been made and zipped, meaning it's short, it's compressed in size. And then we have all these files, which is all the stuff that we have put together now in terms of reports. So this is all the stuff now that we have that we can give to someone at this point. And we've got some logistical problems and some kind of formatting problems in terms of just doing that. Because we could print all these out and give it. We could mail it to somebody. We're probably going to give it digitally. This file's a little large to give to somebody. These files, if I put them all in an email, they're going to be, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them in one email, which could kind of be a little overwhelming to the recipient. So now, next time we're going to discuss, okay, how can we present this stuff, give this to somebody in a way that is nice? Because again, they may not be using these reports as much, or the backup file or the reports as much every time. They'll probably need it more at year end, but we want to give them something nice to know that we're still here, we're still making this stuff each month, and so we want to format that in as best a way as we can. And that's what we'll work on next time. For more accounting information and accounting courses, visit our website at accountinginstruction.info.